So if I close my eyes and I think of a springtime vegetable, I think of peas. They are bright green and sweet and plump and just the perfect pop of green for a bacon pasta. I mean, if you're gonna eat peas during springtime, you might as well eat it in the form of pasta with bacon. So let's get started with this pea and bacon pasta. I have all my ingredients prepped here. I chopped up some shallots into little fine mince. I minced up some garlic and I grated some Parmesan Reggiano cheese, just nicely finely grated. It'll incorporate really, really well in our pasta. And the final step of our prep is to cook off some bacon, and then we can throw everything together in a big pot and make this bacon pea pasta. Let's go. Bacon. So I'm just going to place some bacon that I chopped up into little pieces right into my big pot here. So you want to cook off your bacon in a pretty big pot because you're going to be throwing all your other ingredients for the pasta in this big pot after the bacon cooks. So you'll want to make sure that you have something big so you can throw everything in after. So I'm just going to turn this on medium-high heat, and just until it's nice and crispy and cooked through. You don't need to put any oil or anything else in the pan, just the bacon. You want to watch that bacon, toss it around until it's nice and cooked and crispy, and then you're going to want to sample it. Okay, our bacon is done, and as much as I want to eat it all without anything else, I'm going to drain my bacon with a slotted spoon, and I'm just going to pop it into a separate bowl. I like to line my bowl with a paper towel just to catch some of that extra fat that you don't necessarily want. And I'm just gonna keep going until all of our bacon is drained. Okay, so you can see in the bottom of my pot here, these are the drippings, this kind of brown stuff. This is all the residual bacon. And there's a little bit of it in the bottom of the pile of liquid fat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drain the fat off. So I have a little bowl here, and I'm just gonna pour all the fat off until there's just those brown drippings on the bottom of my pan. So you can basically just tip your pot completely, just like that. And then you have, look at that dripping pile on the bottom of my pot. That is going to flavor our pasta, and you wanna keep that. So I'm going to leave this pot on the stove. You can just keep it, let it hang out for a second. And it's time to pop our pasta in. So I really like Orecchiette pasta, which are these fun little, I don't even know what you would call them, ear-shaped pastas, I think they're technically called. And these are great because they kind of collect the bacon and the peas in the little shape. So they are just so good. You could also use like a penne if you had that on hand. So I have my boiling water, and I'm just gonna pop my pasta right into my boiling water. And then I'm gonna take a little spoon here and just give it a stir. You wanna set your timer for however long that pasta is supposed to boil. It's probably around 10 minutes. So during that time, we have some work to do. So I'm going to add some olive oil right to the bottom of my pot that we cooked our bacon in with those bacon drippings. And to it, I'm gonna add my pre-chopped shallots. And this is a great base. This is gonna add a little bit of almost like acid and a little crunch to your pasta. And then I have some garlic. You need some garlic in there. And I'm just gonna turn my stove on medium heat, and I'm gonna just saute this with those bacon drippings in the olive oil for about 3 minutes or so, just until they start sizzling and some of that rawness is cooked out. So it's been about 3 minutes or so. My shallots are looking like they're cooked through, and so I'm gonna add my frozen peas. I just am using frozen peas for this recipe. You can use fresh if you want, but I honestly think that frozen peas are actually a little better and they're so much easier to use. So I'm just gonna add those frozen peas straight from the freezer into my mixture with my shallots. And that way they can start cooking off. You don't need to pre-cook your peas. Just let them cook off in your pan, medium heat for about 4 to 5 minutes. So you can touch one, squeeze one, see whether it's hot, and that way you know your peas are done. 4 to 5 minutes. I tested a pea and it's hot. So now it's time to add our bacon back in. Our pasta, by the way, is almost done, which is perfect timing because this is the last step. So I'm gonna add my bacon right back into the pot. I have lots of black pepper here. It's about a teaspoon of black pepper. You don't need to add that much, but I love black pepper in this recipe. You just wanna give it a nice mix, reheat that bacon, and once it's reheated through, should take only about 30 seconds to a minute, then it's time to check on that pasta. So our pasta is done. So the last step we wanna do before we take our pasta out is take a 1/4 cup and just, ooh, I'm getting some pasta in there. Save about a 1/4 cup of pasta water that we're gonna be adding to our pasta. Thank you, Rico. You're my official pasta drainer. Pasta is ready, courtesy of Eric. I'm gonna add my pasta right into my bacon pea mixture. And to that, I'm gonna add my pasta water, just like that. Give it a nice stir all together. And then to this, you wanna add a little pinch of salt. Keep in mind that the bacon is pretty salty and the cheese is pretty salty, so you don't wanna overdo it on the salt. And then I have my finely grated Parmesan Reggiano cheese, or you can use regular Parmesan cheese. Add that right in and give it one more toss. Look at that. I was finding the Orecchiette that's stacked. It's my favorite. I don't even think I need to say this pasta is ridiculous. Smoky, sweet from the peas, salty from the cheese. It's amazing. Check this out on tastefullygrace.com. You won't regret it. I'm very excited. You can touch one, squeeze one to see whether it's thawed and hot.
Touch one?